We have the top 100 players under 250,000 coins. What's happening, my beautiful people? Welcome back to the channel. As per usual, we have broken, rank 1, foot champs, debatable, and the pine. And if you're new to these streets, make sure to drop a subscription. Highly appreciated. And if you'd like to see us up the ante, 500K price tag, like it. The vibes are immaculate. I know the comment section is going to erupt because that's how we get down with the get down. Pele, the second coming. I got to start out somewhere. Middle of the road at the moment. I'm not sure that I'm ready to get into that brokenness just yet, or the rank 1. I'm coming in particular. Adeyemi, still got the burner. 86, not in love with the rating. R1 dribbling, not as strong as it once was. But 98 pace is still 98 pace. Get him into some open space. Good luck for the defense. Alaba, I appreciate this item. Well balanced. I'm not sure that he makes the pusher. Play him as a midfielder. You can play him as a fullback. I'd probably prefer some sort of flexible center back. I'm leaving him there for now. Mateus, is she a shoe-in? I'm not sure that rank 1 does her justice. She's still in rotations. I see her every single weekend. We're becoming quite the acquaintance. I'm familiar with Mateus. And if you're a big budget individual, maybe you spent for the green version. Pay more for no stats. Bacha has to be broken. She's been upgraded twice. She's in every single squad. I have her as well. I do want this to be clear on the record for me. Dirty Mike Incorporated. Bacha is not broken. But for the community, 100% I feel that you will get on board and absolutely crucify me in the comments if we do not have her in broken. And I get it. I go up against her. Just for yours truly, something's missing defensively. It's not the offense. It's the chase back or the physicality or the losing of 50-50s. That's my only disclaimer. But broken it is. Baggio. I would love to see him being used more. Even Beckham. He's not getting in a rotation. Can we be transparent? Can we be honest? Just you and I. I'm not talking about fandom, appreciation, the documentary, what he achieved for Manchester United. That is not this discussion. We're talking about a video game. He does not move the needle. Birdcamp, I'm not happy about this at all. I don't care that EA shifted his position to a center mid. It hurts me as a fan of the sport and the culture to see Birdcamp 75 physical, 74 defending, and 78 shooting. Maybe that's the one that sits with me deepest. We're looking like we have a woman bias today, but Bomb Pastor on the record is better than Bacha for me every day of the week. I don't know if that's a hot take, but that is definitely how I feel. Bruno G. It's not happening. Sorry, Bruno G. Kamavinga. New item. First into the rank 1. I've used him as a fullback, a center back, a holding mid, and a center mid. I like utility, statistics, well balanced, good body type, relatively responsive. I would recommend the middle of the pitch is better than out wide. This is not from watching others play. He has made it into the squad, and that's a good time for me to give a shout out to myself. Second channel. If you want gameplay, tips, tutorials, everything in depth, head on over to the playbook. It is linked down below. It would be highly appreciated. And we're uploading a lot on that second channel. Gameplay has not been lost. It's just been segmented. João Cancelo. Where is he at these days? I represent him. He's been a member of Mediocre Cloud FC. I don't know that he's as good as Kamavinga. And he's definitely not touching our broken 3 at the moment. Cannavaro, you're not seeing him in rotations, and it's for a reason. It just feels disrespectful to have the Italian in a debate. I gotta put him into at least foot champs. You could still use him. Cascarino, the smoke show, the burner. I'm getting her up in that rank 1 as it stands. She is so fast. Undeniable pace. And she has that almost pro clubs build. If you know, then you know. Casillas, I don't know what I want to do with goalkeepers. I'll just throw them into the debate. I don't think there's going to be a lot of goalkeepers in this. I'll do the same with Petr Cech. We can sit here and debate and deliberate when it comes to goalkeepers, but much harder to measure the statistics, and everyone's got an opinion. And I made a video covering my favorite and best goalkeepers. Most reliable, consistent, continuity. You can count on them. Chiesa. Is he in foot champs? He's on his way out. I'm telling you, with the players that EA has given out for next to nothing, very affordable, especially from an SBC, 85s and 86s. I'm not seeing them in rotations. It's not by accident. Ooh, Santa Claus. I love Santa Claus. Apparently, we have a real bias towards fullbacks this far in this video. I don't know that he's better than Bomb Pastor or Botcha, but don't sleep on Santa Claus. Joe Cole. He's been doing well. I'm not sure that I would say he's overachieving, but he's still been a factor because he's had some years where he's been up and down. Cordoba, you call me a hater every single time. I don't like these undersized center backs. I'll put him into the debate. I know how this goes. Some of you will swear by him. Others will agree with me and say, not my favorite, not my preferred build for a center back. And here we are. Quadrado with the skill moves. And that 85 should be an 87. He got upgraded from the Thunderstrike. At least foot champs. I'm debating if he's going to get into rank 1. He's a fun fullback to use, well balanced, has the skill moves, will give you some expression. Anything the debate is more or less around his defending. But I'm going to give him the notch to rank 1. And this is just a straight fullback tiers system, apparently, at this point. Fullbacks and Pateas. David, the Canadian. He is dangerous on a through ball, but between the passing and the dribbling, some of the turning in key areas, especially going up against Park the Bus. But if you get him on a counter, elite levels. De Jong, it's not the SBC, it's the inform. We can do better. Paul, I don't want to say is underwhelming. I know, again, that some of you will talk about the Argentinian. I understand. So many players have caught up to him in the midfield. And we've got a big list here. For being exact, I believe we have 105 players. Someone can keep track. Comment sections, who's counting? Del Piero, and I can't put him into the debate. You know the clip that I'm going to run. Run the clip. Roll the clip. Your boy has been assisted from Del Piero. This will live on a lifetime. And I have some autographed boots that need to go into the office space, because how cool is that? To share a pitch with the likes of Del Piero. Dembele's left me asking for more. This has not been the best year of Dembele, and this is not the 90 rated, I believe it's a Champions League item. I'm still going to give Dembele rank 1 off the GP for this price point for a winger. Both feet. In fact, if you've seen the interview, he doesn't know if he's left-footed or right-footed.
Moi, je suis plus gaucher. Et les pénaltys, vous les tirez pas du droit? Si. Pourquoi? Parce que je tire mieux du droit.
Memphis Depay, if you're new to these parts, I am almost at a point of being a little bit of a hater, and I like him in real life. This is a video game. I have not put my finger on it, whether it's body type, whether it's a weak foot issue, something with finishing or execution, but I don't maximize him. Desai, solid center back, too strong, real body bag of a sleeper old school center back. He would definitely toss you out of a club. Diego Carlos, he's holding on to foot champs. Again, a lot of center backs. Doku is still dangerous, man. Doku is not perfect, but if you're looking for a winger that can challenge, the man's showing up in October every single year. That is a Halloween reference. Didier Drogba, I wish that I was a little bit better with him. Some of these large strikers that aren't full of tons of pace or skill moves, I can be hit and miss with. I need that skill execution and the cancellations, the expression, the ingenuity, the moment of creating something out of nothing. Innovation. But when I go up against people that use Didier, they're crushing my soul. Dybala is nice with it. He's got to be at least rank 1. He's teasing, he's touching, he's orchestrating, he's conversating when it comes to potentially being in broken. Really impressed with both the SBC version of Dybala, which was like 50,000 coins on fodder, and this version, which is somewhere in the 200k range, at least as this is being recorded. Michael Essien, I don't know. I'm not sure. I think the game's caught up to him, but if you needed a holder, he's still there. I'm struggling to put him into the debate because I know what he'll give you. Rock solid, physical, makes me think of the Pokemon Onyx. I don't know if that's wrong or right. Probably too big. Maybe he's more of a Geodude. The guy's not being moved around. Fakir, always physical, and once again needs an upgrade. I'm talking to the editor. This is not on me. I did not put together the list, sort of. I did, but I didn't make the actual item. The card was not designed by yours truly. I know that he's an 87. I've got him in rank 1. He could be more foot champs depending who you speak with, but with the physical nature, I've got a better track record with Fakir than some of the other players, just across the board. We go way back. Phil Foden. Oh, I don't think I could do it. I don't like him. I'm just put him to the pine. There's no real life bias. None of that connects. I've not had a good experience. It has not been pleasurable. I have not had a good time. I'm not expressing with joy. I see the stat lines, I read them off, and I don't get max output with Phil Foden. Goretzka, always been a little clunkier than I actually prefer. Most of you, I have a feeling, will have Goretzka in at least rank 1. Sydney, go Vu. Still got the quick footwork. And there's something to be said about being able to turn a defender or a midfielder and then attack with pace, and Govu has that. Gravenberch, and I actually have a higher rated version myself, I believe as an Evo. Some of you might have also completed that Evo. Not a bad investment, but with the way that EA, again, not to be a broken record, has given us so many upgrades and high rated players and just constant promos, I don't think Gravenberch is a shoo-in. Griezmann, wow. That rule breaker item. You do have to play him in a little more of a specialist role. I am definitely gatekeeping broken, by the way, thus far. Expect some movement at the end of this video. We will do a full-on review. Haaland. He's probably got to be broken for this price range. For the range that we're in, the fact that he's still causing problems, still in squads, still viable, unique, unorthodox, physical, explosive, problem creating, definitely can be a one-man counterattack. I think we've all experienced that, both on the good end where you're using them and then going up against them. A lot of decisiveness. Haji, foot champs, technical with the touches, delivery, passing, precision. Hansen to the top. I didn't realize this until we got into it, but we're now looking at 4 out of 5 in broken are women, and it's clear. Hansen's been a monster since she was introduced this year. And if you had the coins or the luck, her rule breaker, 91 overall, pure filth in the best of ways. Havertz, definitely weekend league approved. Bit of a surprise pickup there. Been decent. Hernandez, but not Teo. I don't love him. I don't see him being used, which means it can't just be my opinion. And we got to start filling up the pine. Speaking of, Iago Aspas, what do we want to do here? This rewind throwback has been decent. Maybe not that relevant or in high demand currently, but he's had enough moments. I've definitely gone up against him. There's a frequency. Oh, I like James a lot. I'm not mad if Lauren James was actually in broken and join this group. Probably doesn't have enough track record or enough fandom or enough usability when I look at the quantity of usage rate, not just yours truly, but I definitely co-sign what she's able to do on the virtual pitch. Super nice with the skills. Danger. Absolute threat. Gabby Jesus. Jesus. Foot champs it is. Harry Kane's hard for me to use. You got to build a whole team around him. You have to support him. He can, without a doubt, tap that home, convert, give you power, finishing. He's clinical, but everything has to align. Do you whip in a lot of crosses? Harry Kane might be more usable for you. He's also a wonderful passer, but he's not the quickest release. And I hate when my strikers can't turn defenders, because when you get up against the best of the best, you're playing a lot of top-end talent. They do such a good job of understanding the matchups. They will punish you all game long with pressure because they do not respect Harry Kane having the ability to turn a defender. And he's not at a point where he could play as a center mid or something that's a little more out of the ordinary, but would give him potentially a competitive advantage. Remember, you can take big body attackers and sometimes convert them into center mids, even if the defending numbers aren't impressive, just because between the physical and the size, they will still make interceptions, disrupt plays, give a little bit of a shove, get stuck in on a tackle. You see where I'm going. Karkawi, I think she has to be at the top. I prefer Karkawi to Bacha. I'm just coming in with all sorts of hot takes, and they're all left backs. I don't make the rules. I didn't make the items. I didn't make them overpowered. But if you deny Karkawi, Bacha, or Bompastor, I would be shocked, flabbergasted, in utter disbelief. Keane, I don't think so. That's going to be a no-go. We want to see him work out. It's not my doing. This Miroslav in the midfield I used last week, and that was much better than using him as a striker. Kessler's kind of slept on, and these heroes still got something to them. A little bit of a bump, a little extracurricular. I say this about iconic status. The same applies to some of the heroes, and even more so that second hero intervention, that Marvel superhero upgrade. They seem to be noticeably better. Vincent Kompany, for this price point, Vince got to be broken. I put him into motion quite a few weekend leagues. Loved it. Organic, traditional, big body type, wins everything in the air, physical, a man's man with a high IQ. Koundé, and I would just play him as a center back. I don't know. Is he at the same level as Company? I don't believe so. And you don't want him as a midfielder. He has to be in his traditional position to maximize what you're getting, but I'm still giving him a clear rank 1. Philipp Lahm. I don't love him. I'm not happy about this. Undersized with a poor body type. He can pass, he can facilitate, but doesn't have the skills or the tricks or the flicks or even the confidence on the ball that I would have liked. I'm not trying to be a hater. I don't know that he's getting minutes. Laudrup I just used. I was surprised. It's the best Laudrup that we've ever seen. And I am putting him above Philipp Lahm. I'm standing by that. It's not even to take away his accomplishments or achievements on the pitch. But when you look at this as a video game, there's hype. There's notoriety. Laudrup does not have that. Lineker. I'm not doing it. He hasn't been good for me all year. I have not had a good experience with Lineker. It's not personal. Just talking about FC here. Llorente, you'd be better off with the Evo. He'll still get foot champs, but EA removed his natural right back position. So you're losing that level of a utility player. His weak foot and his skill moves went up, but I'd still rather play him as a defender, and his defending is down. That's just me. Llorente doesn't have that quick side to side or that innovative nature, the ability to sidestep with the best of them. He's not precise with it, and you kind of need that as a winger. He's almost a defensive winger, which still can work out for your team. Still getting him into the weekend. Luis Figo, giving him a debatable at best. Another icon that's almost every year disappointing for me. I hate saying that. In real life, what a monster. If you look at the highlight tapes of Luis Figo, what a Portuguese icon. Makelele at one point was highly desirable and needed. That's no longer where he's at. I'll still put him into the debate, but there's a lot of players that statistically look similar, and that's also why he's had a price reduction. There was a point this year where you were spending 400, 500,000 coins all day if you wanted Makelele in a rotation. Mane, not being used enough, but I have him rank 1. Mane's a problem. He's been a problem at least the last 5 or 6 years of FIFA. And for whatever reason, even when he was in the Premier League at Liverpool, I always felt that he was overlooked or overshadowed or not properly praised and appreciated and talked about with the utmost quality, not only in real life, but in the game. Marquisio has almost disappeared. I think he's in the debate. I can't believe I'm saying that. In the last couple installments, Marquisio was not only a shoe-in, he was some of the best, creme de la creme midfielder, right up there on the same page, the same level as a Yaya Toure. Hand in hand, side by side. If you had one, you had the other. That was a partnership. Not now. If you want him in foot champs, I can do that, but I don't believe he's touching rank 1. He's not there. Marquinhos, not my favorite style of center back, but still at least good enough for the weekend. This new Marta item is fun. Am I biased? Maybe. Does she have one of the greatest speeches of all time? Perhaps.
Então apoie, continue apoiando. A Marta acaba por aqui. Não tem mais Copa pra Marta. Pra mim, é o fim da linha agora. Obrigado.
What she's meant for the sport, what she means for the sport. You know what we've done wrong here? And I don't know if they've both been included. Again, I didn't make the tiers. I just talk about them. This is what I'm gonna do. Marta should be in rank 1, but it should be her fire item, not her ice item. That might look confusing. It might sound a little confusing, but at this price point, you want the fire item and she can get herself into rank 1. And for me, and I'm not going to act as if I'm in touch fully with all women's players, but when I think of the most influential women of all time in the sport, Mia Hamm and Marta, those are the two. The Bayern Munich Moroccan. Kind of flows, comes off the tongue. I'll work with this. I'd use them throughout a weekend. Alex Morgan, I love her personally. In this grouping, I think she's going to broken. Every time I've used her, I score goals for fun. She is one of those players, at least from my experience, in my hands. Alex Morgan is unstoppable. Alex Morgan's got the juice. Mudryk is annoying, but I also think that he's getting caught up to. There was a moment when he was first introduced that you would have argued he was one of the fastest, if not the quickest winger in the game. If he beat you down the end line, you weren't cutting him off. Forget about a recovery. Musiala, I love him. This guy, especially with that R1 dribbling, the way that he bursts through the midfield, these late stage runs, I've used him as a starter, as a super sub. I get a lot of goals from him. I'm feeling controversial. I might give him the notch. For right now, he's rank 1, but we're going to have some talks. I'm looking at my rank 1. I'm looking at my broken. I'm looking at my foot champs. We got discussion. Don't you go anywhere. Nesta's just a no for me. I am not giving Nesta the starting job as a center back at our club. I know he's upgraded. I see it. You see it. I understand. Nico Williams is very fast. And I actually think he might be a little overvalued just because there's a lack of right mids or right wings comparatively to the other side. Oberdorf used her recently as well. I'm surprised at her price point because she doesn't have hype and she doesn't have the most favorable stats. Is a 90 overall. I thought she was usable. I don't know that I'm calling home and letting people know this is a must pick up. By definition, the debate seems right. Ogbonna, kind of running back the years. Bit of a revitalization if you really truly toss it back. Ogbonna's had some overpowered items. Openda, still so fast. I don't think we can deny Openda from being at least foot champs. On the back end of a through ball or down the wing, uncatchable. What puts him over top is that he's relatively physical, especially for a winger, even for a striker. He's well above average for his physicality. Oshuala, man, she's still a threat. Absolute problem. Definition of a pro club's player. She is so fast, explosive, responsive, intricate, scores the fantastic goals, and also is there for cleanup duty. Osimhen is trending the wrong direction. He's not my style of striker. I can't get away from it. Futra, yes, absolutely. Give you some highlight plays. Tempted to push him into rank 1. Pedri, a little underwhelming, especially for an 89 overall. I think your demand would be a little higher. Raul, decent value on an icon. One of my favorite number 9s of all time. Declan Rice, that time has passed him up, but he's put on too much for the club. My personal usage rate is too high, too many matches, too much representation to disrespect Declan Rice. I'm a heavy rotational manager. Declan Rice has played over 200 matches for the club, including, and it's probably a surprise to you, 31 goals and 37 assists as a classic holding midfielder. Based on those numbers, I'm actually tempted to even put him into foot champs, but he shouldn't be there. Wayne Rooney, put him into foot champs. Bit of an in-betweener. We can argue, we can debate. I just made a video talking about out-of-position players, but I would prefer him as a center midfielder as opposed to a striker. Saliba, let's get him into rank 1. It's been good for me this year. It's been good against me this year. Even his baseline gold early on fit into that category, undeniably overpowered. Schmeichel, I'm just going to keep the goalkeepers all in the debate. I don't think this is that video. I mean, always preference heavy. Skriniar as an SBC. I've got to start loading this pine. We've been too friendly. I need more names down here. It's going to be difficult. 250 will get you a high quality player. A lot of ratings, a lot of stats, a lot of allocation. Alex Scott, I can't do it. She's not debatable. She's not better than the left backs, but there is something with that Marvel hero item. Alan Shearer, still not going to work, and he does not feel like a cam. Thiago Silva, I like the item. A lot of players caught up to him. Xavi Simons is going to the Pine. I remember when he was released. It was a bit of an expensive SBC at the time. Sophia Smith, and I'm surprised she's dropped to under 250,000 coins. Broken. She's been crushing. This item has been destroying. Just fantastic. Came out of nowhere. So dangerous. The second Smith, who I'm actually going to get into rank 1. Not as good as Sophia. That's my takeaway. I'm sticking to it. Son, and I packed this item. I'm being difficult with the broken category. Son this year is probably going to get himself into it. Even his baseline gold is good money. The SBC, problem. Trailblazer, problem. Inform, noticeably better. John Stones, I would play him as a center back, and I'm just going to assume you're going to do the same. We'll put him into foot champs. Thuram. Again, no issues in the weekend. I'm telling you, we're not far off. 1 month from now, we'll be talking about only 90+ rated players being in this exact same category. Quote me. Put it on a t-shirt. Timber. We're not talking about a lumberjack. I'm going to throw him into the weekend. I've used him. That's where he belongs at the moment. Tamori. Weekend. I've enjoyed what he's given the club. Trippier, and this is similar to Marta. We're going to take the fire item. I'll have him in foot champs. I don't know that I'm comfortable giving that upgrade, and it is an upgrade. Still not the ideal speed for a fullback, but we're looking at the fire version, not the ice version. Similar price points. The fire's a little more expensive. Fernando Torres. Strikers are actually getting too good. Call how I see it. Upamecano. And his other version is actually significantly more expensive. He wouldn't fit in the 250 range. I think he's more like 350 or 400 for the ice variation. I got him in foot champs. I still prefer him as a center back. That's my takeaway. If you're going to use him, unless you're playing a 3 at the back, I would still somehow figure out a way to incorporate him centrally. Van Basten, though it is an upgrade, it is a complete lie that he has 88 dribbling. He will not feel like someone who should have or does authentically have 88 dribbling. Not to be the bearer of bad news. Xavi, I think he slept on, but I don't know if he's weekendly good. Can move the ball around well, but he's still very much so a specialist. Not a big body type, not amazing defensively. On the offensive end, not going to score you a bunch of goals. The passing, unbelievable. I'm just trying to talk our way through how you're going to take max advantage of Xavi. And when you look at having to build a team around him, I'm not saying don't do it. I just think it's a requirement if you want to hit his potential. Zambrata. Are we going to put him into the debate? Zambrata is giving the club too much. John Luca to foot champs. We have 4 rows of foot champs. We're just getting a lot of upgraded players, and fullbacks in particular, there are options. Virgil van Dijk, absolutely broken in all ways. Since the rip, since the jump, since the release. Built different, physically different. And last but not least, we have the upgraded Zanetti, whom I feel should be at least foot champs. Not really my style of player from a preference perspective. Good value for under 250. He could play as a right back, a left back, and a center mid. On paper, shall we review? The Pine. I'm not having any movement. Cordoba's not my style of center back, so I'll just go ahead and bring him down. I'll be that guy. De Jong, with his 87, be in the Pine. Probably. You need the upgrades. You need the promo. The inform's not a big jump up. I think I want to bring 3 names from the debate. 3 gotta go. Who's getting pulled? The easy choice would just be to simply drop the goalkeepers. I think that's what I'm going to do. We had Schmeichel, Casillas, and Petr Cech. I'm not saying these guys are actually in the Pine, but you also didn't come to this video, this list, to learn about goalkeepers. And I have a video on the channel dedicated to goalkeepers. So let's talk about the debate. Is anyone going up or down when it comes to foot champs in the debate? There's not that many cases, I don't think, for us to have. The debatable group is the debatable group. I'm going to bring Diego Carlos down. It's not because I don't believe that he could do the job or that he does the job. I just am not as impressed. He's not one of my personal favorite center backs. I'm also going to bring Mudryk down to the debate. So now we've gone. As for foot champs, we are into 3 rows. Rank 1 and broken. We might have some discussion. Oshawa is filth. She is so good. I'm looking at it and saying, is she at the same level as Sophia Smith or an Alex Morgan? A lot of you would argue against Alex, but she's been special for me. Does Haaland move? Is he a rank 1? He's not broken. The fact that so many people still use him. 2 or 3 weekend leagues previous, I played with the gold Haaland. That's rare. That's uncommon. It's an elite group to be a regular gold player that can still be used with high success rates. He scored more than 20 goals for me. But that's versus the sweatiest, most disgusting, soul-snatching competition. I mean, rats everywhere. Bigger than New York City. We're talking Splinter, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, classics. I think Cascarino, I'm going to actually take down to foot champs. I think that's where we're going to leave off. We've got more names than I'm used to in broken as well. We're looking at 12 names in broken, but for 250K, And I'm not mad. I'll hear you on some different arguments. So I think, let me give you my next up group here. Remember, Marta, we're looking at the fire item, not the ice item. I love James. Big fan. For me, and this is my list, this would be my group that's kind of on the cusp between Griezmann, Oshuala, Musiala, James, even the second Smith. A lot of track record, proof of concept is right, ability, relentlessness, regularity, frequency, solution solving. It's there. That was a lot of players. I look forward to your comments. If you've gotten to this point in the video, please drop a subscription, drop a like. I appreciate all of you. And if you want the gameplay, it's on the second channel. We'll have a lot more coming out ASAP.